Death had the baby in its crosshairs, but a troop of tree-hopping vegetarians voted to intervene. No claws, no fur, no survival instincts, just a floppy primate who smelled wrong and cried loud. Yet the monkeys stuck around, sharing figs, body heat, and sentry duty. If that doesn't scramble everything you thought you knew about survival of the fittest, keep listening. The next 4 years only get weirder. Locals swear the boy later nicknamed Mateo vanished from a riverside market in 1988. Traffickers loved quiet infants. The jungle made a handy warehouse. When police raided, the smugglers ditched their cargo and bolted. 8 months old, unable to crawl, Mateo became a hot lunch waiting to happen. Vultures spiraled, bullet ants marched in, dusk hit. Statistically, game over. Instead, a passing capuchin troop, already famous for dropping palm nuts on caiman heads, decided the bald intruder merited a second opinion. Curiosity beat hunger. One curious sniff changed both species' plans. White-ear, the alpha female, inched forward on all fours, eyes scanning for trickery. Loggers drifting downstream swear she groomed the baby's sticky hair, fingers gentle, as if picking ticks off her own newborn. Then the lioness padded into view. The troop formed a living shield, adults, drumming branches, infants tucked behind. Predators hate risk. 8 seconds of hesitation felt like 8 hours. The cat backed off. Monkeys closed in, licking salt from the baby's cheeks. Adoption paperwork in the wild is simple. 1 sniff, 1 lick, done deal. For canopy-dwelling, years followed. Mateo learned to hook his big toe around vines, eat figs the second they blush pink, and freeze when the troop's eagle alarm barked. Nights dropped to 18 Celsius. They slept in a squirming, tail-wrapped pile. Insects and palm hearts supplied protein. He thrived, though his growth chart lagged. Doctors later found knuckle pads like rawhide in a balance that would shame Olympic gymnasts. Language evaporated, replaced by a catalog of bird calls. He couldn't spell home, but he could swing 30 meters without touching a branch. Autumn 1992, fruit pickers heard leaves crash overhead and spotted a naked, berry-streaked kid swinging beside capuchins. Someone yelled, the troop scattered, Mateo dropped to the forest floor and sprinted on leathery soles. Rangers finally netted him. He weighed 11 kilos. Couldn't stand upright for long, and greeted zoo capuchins with soft tongue clicks they still answered. Authorities airlifted him. TWO's child welfare unit where fluorescent lights replaced dappled sun. Rehab started with shoes, soap, and the bewildering concept that food could arrive on plates instead of tree bark. Talking returned like Wi-Fi in a storm, patchy and frustrating. By 7, he managed 2-word demands. More mango. By 9, he pointed at jets and asked, what fly? Therapists used picture cards and weekly visits from the same capuchin troop, now housed in the city zoo. The monkeys were his emotional bridge. When they retreated to their enclosure, tantrums spiked. Even now, he prefers fruit to steak, climbs door frames like they're jungle trunks, and flinches at barking dogs. Spatial memory off the charts, emotional regulation on a delay, proof that early wiring sticks, plasticity or not. Think compassion belongs to humans. Mateo's story begs to differ. If you want more tales that blur the line between homo and everything else, subscribe and ring the bell. Comment below, would you trust a monkey babysitter? Today, Mateo guides eco-tourists along Colombia's Caribbean coast. Pointing out poison dart frogs, tourists step right past. He speaks fluent Spanish, some English, and still greets wild capuchins with a guttural grunt only they answer. Researchers play bird call quizzes. He nails every species from a 1-second chirp. Legally an adult, he runs a small foundation that funds ranger patrols and teaches river communities why trafficking costs more than money. The jungle once tried to erase him. Now he fights to keep it tanned. It's monkeys, live and kicking. A starving lioness, a band of monkeys, and a baby the world forgot. 3 variables no odds calculator would string together. Yet here we are. Cross-species adoption, half a decade in the treetops, and a man rebuilding the forest that saved him. Real or folklore, Mateo's tale hints that kindness isn't a human patent. Next time you hear leaves rustle overhead, look up. Family might be swinging by, wearing a very different face.